Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here, and I've been using the Pixel 6 Pro from Google for about a week now. I want to give some further impressions on the latest flagship that Google has to offer. Now, I haven't had enough, I don't think a week is enough time for me to give a full review, so that will be coming very soon, but these are more detailed impressions that I have after using it for about a week. Now, after watching this video, if you have any further questions, feel free to drop a comment. I'll be down in the comments answering anything that you want to know about Google's latest devices. And also, I do have an unboxing if you want to hear about the differences between the Pixel 6 Pro and Pixel 6. I can link to that down below as well. But anyways, let's get some further impressions going on the Pixel 6 Pro. Let's get started. So let's get right into it. First of all, with the fingerprint scanner, if you don't have an always-on display on, you can't just set your finger down on a black screen like other phones. You have to actually turn the display on before you do, but it's recommended that you have the always-on display because then you can just set your finger down and it unlocks it. Now, you notice there that I had to set it down a couple times. The fingerprint itself is a little bit slower than other ones that I've used and also not as accurate. I found some more failures than other fingerprints. So I'd say overall, it's not necessarily bad. It's just kind of an average in-display fingerprint scanner, which is kind of a bummer because they don't include a face unlock at all, which I know is not as secure as phones like the iPhone, but it would be nice to at least have the option to enable a face unlock. Now, in terms of design, a very good-looking device, in my opinion. I might not go with this color personally, but overall, very premium-looking, feeling phone. I like how unique it is, especially with the camera bar up at the top. And speaking of that camera bar, since it sticks out just a little bit down there and up towards the top, when I put it into my pocket and take it out of my pocket, it kind of catches on it occasionally, just something I've noticed. However, this might not really be an issue because if you plan to throw a case on your phone, it doesn't happen nearly as much. I tried to go through my Instagram post, my unboxing video, and look at what was most important to people, and the processor was a very big one because, of course, it's a brand new Tensor chip that Google is including. First of all, so I figured we could start with some gaming. One nice little feature is that it actually has a game dashboard where you can optimize it and turn performance mode on, battery saver, or standard. Let the game decide what to use. You can stream to YouTube Live. One thing I love is that you can have it enable FPS. So you can see the frames per second that the game is going to get. Now this game, Asphalt 8, actually only gets 60 frames per second, but other games you might be able to bump it up and see a little bit higher numbers. But I figured this was just a solid game to test out because it's graphic intensive, and you'll notice the FPS. Just keep an eye on it back and forth with the graphics, especially when there's a lot going on, just to get an idea of how it is very steady at 60 frames a second, no matter what's happening in the game. And that goes to speak for the rest of the OS in general when I'm using it, when I'm swapping through apps, doing a lot of multitasking, like I said, heavy gaming as well. It's been very quick. I've been really happy with it. You can go look for benchmarks other places. I know a lot of people are going to post them, but I'm not a big benchmark person. I'm more real world. And in comparison to other devices with other top-level processors, this definitely compares to it. Now, I don't want to dive into Android 12 too much. That's for another video for sure. There's some new widgets, such as this clock widget, just other theme elements that you can really customize. So if I go to wallpaper in style, you can change the colors based on the wallpaper or basic colors. Dark theme, themed icons is kind of a cool one actually. So if I turn that on and I go home, it tries to theme as many of the system icons, the Google app icons, as it possibly can, just based on the color scheme that you're using. So kind of neat. It would be cool if it could somehow override the other ones, but of course, developers might not like that. Now, within settings, there's a lot of different gestures, but one I really want to touch on is the back tap. So if I double tap the back, I have it set to bring down my notification tray there. So you'll see I'm not touching the screen and that notification tray is going down, going back up, just by me double tapping the back of the phone. It didn't work that time, but it generally has worked how it should. And you can customize that quick shortcut. So you can have it take a screenshot, access digital assistant, open a specific app. And if you find that it is actually going off on accident, which it doesn't for me, you can have it require stronger taps. It's clear Google is focusing on security, privacy. One nice thing that I've noticed when going into apps is that when it asks for your location, not only can you say only while using, only this time, but you can choose whether you want approximate or a precise location depending on the app. So like Google Maps, I'm gonna give it precise, but if this one where it's looking for golf tee times, I can just give it an approximate location of where I'm at. Google is really focusing on voice to text, such as translations, or if you're getting a phone call with an operator, it will manage all of that for you. But one really cool one is the text to speech. So let's go ahead and test it out. Basically, I turned on the speech to text and it's going up towards the top. But while, let's say, there's an accident, if I tap on something, and then I can just start talking again and it keeps going. So you'll see I paused and was editing something. I obviously wasn't really doing anything important, but it's really accurate. I'm actually super impressed at how quick and good this voice to text is. Okay, so now I'm just messing with it, but also put a period down. Okay, that's not obviously not the right command, but hello, what is the weather like today? You see that question mark that got added? Okay, well, it went away there, but you'll see it adds punctuation for you, and it's been very accurate, especially when I'm doing text. I don't have to say, hey, let's go to the park, period, and it puts a period there, but obviously that's not something you want. I'm just going to keep talking, but check out how quick and accurate that is. Just very impressed with it. Now, we'll get to the camera in just a second. Here's a picture I took in very low light of this tree here, and you'll notice there's people walking by on the side, so a new feature is removing these people, and this is in Google Photos. It recognizes it, and I can tap on it, remove people, or I can hit edit and go to it. It's an option. Now, it will suggest the people, so it found that there was people walking on the side there. I'm just gonna hit erase all, and there's some remnants. You can kind of see someone's foot there still, so it didn't do it exactly how I wanted to, so you can kind of highlight those areas, and you'll see it just kind of gets rid of them. The like darker spots where there were shadows, and it's pretty hard to tell. It actually did a really good job. It's harder to tell that there's anyone that is actually there. And when it comes to the camera, I need a little bit more time with it. I didn't get time to take more bright light shots because it's been so rainy, but I did get some night shots, which turned out really good. I'm happy so far with the camera's performance, especially the zoom lens. The zoom lens has worked really well, so I need a little bit more time to test it out and more to come in the full review. And since there's a new processor, I got a lot of questions about this, but you can shoot 4K 60 frames per second video. In case you were wondering about that. And in terms of the modes, the camera mode, when it was at night, it kind of switched over to night sight. And one thing I don't like about night sight is it doesn't have a timer. It just kind of has a spinning wheel, and you don't know exactly how long you have to keep it stable. And I noticed you have to really keep it stable while you're holding it and taking a night sight picture. So I kind of wish there was a timer counting down. And in terms of the camera, there's no pro mode at all. Just the extra modes here are just portrait, photosphere, and lens. So when you are in the camera app, you can change the color temperature and exposure, but if you want to change the shutter speed, aperture, all that good stuff, you really can't do that. And again, I haven't used the phone as much as I'd like to give full impressions, but battery life has been very good. I've been able to get through a full day. I'll say it's not as good as the iPhone 13 Pro, but it still is very good, and I can get through a full day. They also offer battery share, so if you turn it on, you can charge other devices by placing them on the back of your device, so that will start to charge it. Also, I noticed that there's kind of some magnets in the back of the phone. Not very strong, don't get me wrong, but you'll see if I put this at the bottom here, it pulls it up. That's not like the angle doing that, but it's kind of like a magnet that's pulling it up kind of towards the area of where you need to put it, which is kind of nice and interesting that there's magnets in there. Another really cool feature that I've been using is called extra dim, so you can really get the screen as dark as you really want it to. Look at how dim that is. You can barely see it. It almost looks like it's off. But it's great at night when you're laying in bed. You don't want to get just flashed in the face. And it's nice that you can truly customize how bright you want the screen to go. And overall, that is everything I want to touch on with some further impressions on the Pixel 6 Pro that I've been using for about a week. Drop a comment, let me know if you have more questions, more things you want me to cover in the full review, and of course, more coverage coming on just the 6. Not crazy differences. I talked more about the differences in my unboxing video. I can link to that down below. But drop a comment, let me know what you think. If you're going to pick up one of these devices, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.